Anicca, impermanence. Everything has its day in the sun. The notion of impermanence is one of the most important concepts in Buddhism. We all know what it is, right? We know everything changes. Big deal. What good does that awareness do me? We know intellectually anyway that impermanence is as ubiquitous to life. It is, but we tend to not pay much attention to it unless we have to. Unless someone important to us dies, then we pay attention. I mean, why else would we? What's in it for us otherwise? Well, for me, I'm curious just because the Buddha seemed to think it was a big deal. That seeing this clearly was transformational, was liberating, that it led to less suffering and more ease of well-being. That's interesting. But I'm also curious because the Buddha invites us to experiment for ourselves. Ehipassiko, come and see for yourself. Explore, experiment, see what you see, feel what you feel, understand the teachings through this body, through your body, through the one that you've got right now. He said, use this and see for yourself. But what I see, I'm paraphrasing now for the Buddha, what I see is that in every experience, is that there exists a beginning, a middle, and an end. Take note of this. Notice these separately and together. What do each of these feel like, alone and together? In other words, investigate these experientially. Feel them. It's not enough for us to know them intellectually. We see how far that has gotten us. We still suffer as far as I can see. Let's bring it home. Let's bring it inside. Let's listen from within. What does the organism tell you? What does it tell you once it settles down out of alarm? Once the rattle subsides enough to feel something else, like maybe ease or lightness, or perhaps the moment feels a little less pressurized. Investigate experientially, but as you steady the boat, as you get your sea legs. No point in getting overwhelmed, right? Easy does it. Notice the beginning, middle, and end of, say, a breath cycle. A life cycle of a single breath. Notice the inhalation marks a beginning, the birth of a breath. And as it goes until it can't go anymore. The inhalation naturally stops. When the organism has reached capacity, it ceases to inhale. Yes, this too marks the ending of the inhalation. And this process is always followed by an exhalation. When the breath finds or forces its way out of the organism as it seeks to keep itself alive and at ease in maintaining well-being. Yep, nothing personal about that. It isn't about you. Get out of the way and watch what happens moment after moment right before your eyes, right here in these bodies, in these breathing bodies, living on planet Earth with an atmosphere of oxygen, living bodies amongst other living kinds, living bodies in a habitat we call Earth. I'm just saying that there's a lot of potential in seeing that everything changes, arises, and passes away. It's a tremendous blessing when Susan notices the severity of her pain has lifted. Even better, when she can sup with, when she can savor and appreciate the ease that appears when the pain subsides or temporarily is gone, absent. Oh my gosh, what a relief. Let me savor that moment for a few minutes, right? The sweet blessing of no pain. Oh my gosh, let the ease register. Let it register as a felt experience. This is how we get to know what ease is like. And this is a useful skill to cultivate on and off the cushion for future reference, right? So to speak. there's a lot of potential also in noticing beginnings. And notice the peculiar placement of beginnings. Right at the end of every ending, the last moment, every ending also marks a new beginning. And every beginning predicts that an ending will come in some form. Good to know so that I don't misperceive reality. If it's wholesome right now, let me breathe and drink it in. If it's unwholesome right now, let me breathe and see if I can give wise attention to not keeping it around. Right? Now I'm beginning to relate to impermanence in a wise way. Can I be grateful that the breath keeps arising? Because quite honestly, that's what keeps you and me alive. And that is a miracle and a blessing, that this cycle keeps arising on its own. Holy smokes. Look, Mom, no hands. Thank goodness. Could you imagine if we were responsible for remembering to draw in a breath and release it 8 to 12 times a minute? Oh my gosh, forget about it. Gratefully, it's coming in like clockwork with an average number of breaths per minute that keep these bodies alive. In the classic Theravadan tradition, we have slow walking practice. And walking in this practice is divided into the beginning, the middle, and the end. The lifting of the foot is the beginning. The moving of the foot forward is the middle. The placing of the foot down is the end. So, in the middle of a breath cycle is experienced by noticing and feeling all of the momentary sensations as the breath expands and contracts in the container it's breathing into and out of. What does the filling of the air in this body feel like? What does the releasing of it feel like? Buddha says, notice. Notice the momentary changes of sensations, moment after moment. This helps ground our understanding of this experience for ourselves. Well, now I'm beginning to see it from within my own experience. This is what it means. The breath arises and then it passes away. It has a whole life cycle. One breath, a whole life cycle. All right. And it's good that we can maybe settle back and notice that whole breath cycle. Because sometimes it just helps to do that. Just to settle back, settle down on our seats, let the bodies have a moment, and just let things come and go. Especially if we're tired, right? At the end of a work day, who wants to be rigid with ourselves, right? Maybe we could adjust the view just a little bit to be a bit friendlier. Maybe we might adjust the eyes to be a little kinder and see the mind's scattered thoughts and let them be. And see the body's uptightness and just support it to be comfortable. And let ourselves be on the couch, on the chair, on the bed, the floor, the ground, and just ground and breathe and feel the busyness as it passes through, feel the tightness as it begins to unwind. And all we're doing is sitting in back and we're watching everything come and go, like clouds in the sky, like water in a stream. Because everything is moving and changing. And this is what we as practitioners are beginning to notice, the changing nature of things. And this is very useful information for us as we learn how to relate to the moment at hand.